Good morning and welcome to the Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee. I'd like to call to order the meeting on Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. And before we begin our normal subcommittee business, I would like us all to take a moment of silence in remembrance of the terrible tragedy that struck the United States 23 years ago. If you'd please join me. Thank you so much. We will begin our meeting with our City Attorney, David Benton, explaining public comment.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. During citizen comment, members of the public may address the subcommittee for up to 3 minutes on issues of interest or concern to them. The open meeting law permits the subcommittee members to listen to those comments, but prohibits members from discussing or acting on matters presented. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, sir. And now we will allow our interpreter, Elsie Duarte, to introduce herself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, my name is Elsie Duarte, and I will be servicing as Spanish interpreter for today's Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee session. I will now take a moment to introduce myself to our Spanish-speaking audience and review some guidelines. Buenos días, bienvenidos a la sesión de la Subcomisión de Desarrollo Económico y Vivienda. Mi nombre es Elsie Duarte y estaré sirviéndoles hoy como intérprete a nuestra audiencia de habla hispana. Deseamos pedirles antemano, si es que va a dar un comentario público, por favor, hable despacio, con claridad y evite tener distracciones de fondo. Finalmente, después de cada una o dos oraciones, haga una breve pausa para poder interpretar lo que esté diciendo de la manera más completa posible. Gracias. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. And our first order of business will be a call to public. We have Evelyn Castillo with us to speak. She's not on the line. Next, we have Linda Simmons, also not on the line. Lisa Marsh. No, nobody online. Okay, we do have somebody in person, Eric Nielsen.
Hi, my name's Eric, and one thing I noticed is that the city of Phoenix needs money. So I had an idea. I skate around downtown a lot, and I try to keep an eye out for how business is going and things are coming back from the pandemic. And two things I've noticed lately. The first being is that the amount of economic activity in the downtown core has recently reached sort of a threshold where there's now street vendors out on Wednesday night, not just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I think that's a positive sign. And then I came up with an idea I've been thinking of for a long time that I haven't had a good opportunity to turn into you guys. So the other thing I noticed is that the parking spots don't make a lot of money compared to other downtown cities, and that's great. Our downtowns would be accessible, but they also don't make any money when nobody's parked there. So I was thinking the downtown, the Phoenix City Council or the Phoenix City of Phoenix should create a parking program for a month, like say a yearly parking pass. If you were to say sell a parking pass, that would allow you to park however often you want downtown for say maybe $1,000 a piece, and you sold 500 or 1,000 of them. It's just a drop in the bucket of city bills, but it would be something. And then given the date, I would just like to thank all our first responders. And I'd like to point out that when 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center, I don't think anybody was complaining about how much the city was paying them, because that's not why they show up to work. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments and your suggestion. Our next order of business is the approval of minutes. Do I have a motion
I move to approve.
and a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. The next items are for consent actions, items 2 through 8. Do I have a motion
I move to approve consent.
and a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. So we will, item 9 is for information only. Does anybody need any additional information? Okay. Then item 10 is our Head Start Governing Board orientation item. And for that, we will hear from Deputy City Manager Gina Montez, Human Services Director Jacqueline Edwards, and Deputy Human Services Director Patricia Kirkland. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. As a Head Start grantee, we are required to provide an annual orientation to our governing board. The City Council has designated the Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee as the city's Head Start governing board due to the detailed responsibilities and requirements, which we will be reviewing today. As part of this orientation, we will be sharing a program overview, the structure of the governance model, responsibilities of the governing board, program eligibility and processes, and the strategic focus areas for this fiscal year. The Head Start program was established by the federal government in 1965. It is a comprehensive program, so Head Start does focus on early education, health and nutrition, and family well-being. As an evidence-based program to promote school readiness for children from birth to 5 years old, primarily from households with low incomes, by supporting the children's cognitive, social, and emotional development. The City of Phoenix has been a grantee since 1967, and fiscal year 2025 does mark the beginning of a new 5-year grant cycle for us. The Human Services Department receives just over $43 million per year to provide early education and family support services to 2,209 children. The early education is provided through 8 educational service providers, which includes both school districts and nonprofit organizations. The total staff of the educational service providers is 452. The program management and wraparound family support services is for all enrolled families, and that is provided directly by the City of Phoenix Human Services Department staff, which is at about 150 staff. Head Start is designed to have a shared leadership and governance model so as to ensure the program meets the needs of the local community, and more specifically, the unique needs of enrolled children and families. HSD's Head Start Birth to 5 leadership team oversees the day-to-day operations. The Head Start Birth to 5 Policy Council is a required component to Head Start, and this does consist of both parents and community members who set the program direction by reviewing child and family data. And the third piece of the shared governance model is the Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee. And as the designated governing board, it is responsible for the oversight of legal and fiscal matters. As the governing board, EDH Subcommittee has responsibilities to ensure legal, fiscal, and overall program alignment to the Head Start Act, as well as the Head Start program performance standards. In the three categories, the legal compliance pertains to ensuring ADA requirements, federal regulations, and conflicts of interest. Fiscal oversight and approval for financial management and accounting reporting policies, which is why you see both a fiscal and program report monthly. Grant applications, major expenditures like capital purchases over $5,000, as well as our annual audits. Alignment with the Head Start regulations and performance standards specifically consists of eligibility criteria for enrollment, major program policies, and required programmatic reports. Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, as I mentioned previously, the governing board is required to know the eligibility criteria for enrollment, as well as the process for verifying eligibility. The Human Services Department Deputy Director, Patty Kirkland, will now share this information.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, good morning. This is a very integral part of what we do. There's various ways that families are eligible for our services. One, of course, is income. Family must be 100% or below the federal poverty level. So, for example, a family of 4 would need to make less than $31,200 a year to be income eligible. Other eligibilities for the program include families experiencing homelessness, children that are in foster care, and families that are receiving public assistance such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Those are automatic eligibilities and income is not required for those. The verification of the information that families give us is documented and stored, and we need to make sure that we have, the family lives within our boundary area. So we look at the verification of their home address using utility bills, something from their landlord maybe, indicating that they do live within our boundaries. And then proof of income. We use a variety of things. We can use W-2s, we can use tax returns. For those families that are not, that don't receive W-2 income, we do have a self-declaration where they can then tell us how much they make, and that's how we go ahead and approve it that way. The final selection into the program, though, once a family is determined income eligible, then we have a selection criteria, and that helps us to identify those families that are most in need. There are points awarded to families based on their current circumstances. For example, a family may receive points for if the child has an identified disability, if the child is living in a kinship situation, or if the family has involvement with the Department of Child Safety. The City of Phoenix Head Start Birth to 5 program has 4 strategic focuses for the fiscal year 24-25. The first is to achieve exceptional service delivery for children and families. This will be accomplished by providing more opportunities for children to receive physical and dental exams through strengthened community partnerships. The second focus is on innovation and continuous quality improvement. We will ensure that the curriculum is implemented effectively and that families are provided with comprehensive social services to support family well-being and economic mobility. Respect and inclusiveness are fundamental values in the Head Start Birth to 5 program, which will be achieved through the creation of positive learning environments, empowering parents to advocate for their children, and reducing disparities through providing opportunities for families. The final focus is a collaborative community partnership, and by increasing the number of community partners, we will significantly enhance the quality and reach of services offered to families by leveraging the strengths and resources of the broader community.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, this concludes the orientation. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Members, are there any questions?
I don't actually have a question. I just want to comment on the great work you guys do. I think this is really an important program, and I appreciate that you guys step up to the plate every day and make sure that it works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions,
But-
Councilwoman?
No questions from me. Thank you, Chair. No questions from me, but like the Vice Mayor, I also wanted to echo the thanks and gratitude for all of the work that the department does in ensuring that our Head Start program continues to serve those most vulnerable.
Thank you so much. I just have a quick question. Do we have a waiting list for any of our programs?
Madam Chair, as part of the Head Start requirements, we must have a waiting list for our Head Start classrooms, and so we do have that currently.
And how many children are on it? Do we know?
We'll have to check because that does change on a daily basis, but we can share that information with you.
So appreciate it. And again, I will echo, thank you for all the great work. It is so incredibly important to our families and the children and our community overall. So thank you for the presentation this morning.
Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is our mobile career unit update. And for this, we will have Chris Mackey from the Community and Economic Development. She's the director, and then Deb Furlong, our Business and Workforce Program Manager.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. We are excited to be here today to give you an update on our mobile career unit. With me today is Deb Furlong, Program Manager over Workforce and Business Services. In the audience is Deputy Director Lisetta Hogans, who can be here to answer any questions you might have as well. As you'll remember, in 2021, the City of Phoenix did win the Bloomberg Philanthropies Mobile Mayor's Global Challenge. And with it, our application was to create a mobile career unit. Deb is going to walk you through the activities to date and what we've seen and where we go next. Deb?
Thank you, Chris. Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. I am actually honored and excited and probably a baby bit nervous to share our update on the mobile career unit. So as Chris mentioned, back in 2021, the City of Phoenix applied for the Mayor's Global Challenge, and we received the award. This actually highlighted the best of Phoenix. This is a project not just with CED, but with so many departments here in the City of Phoenix, like the Mayor's Office, Office of Innovation, Communications, Streets, IT, Human Services, Finance, Public Transit, and probably some others that I'm forgetting that are supporting us now. So it really highlights the best of what we are, which is all working together. There were over 600 applicants worldwide, and we were one of 15 globally and only one of 4 cities in the United States, and that's quite an honor. So you're probably asking yourself, what is the Mobile Career Unit? Well, it's a hiring event that we do in Phoenix communities where we directly connect employers with qualified candidates. And how we do that is we adapt the hiring process. So this isn't your typical job fair you might have heard about in the past. We adapt the hiring process for on-the-spot contingent offers, and then with our partners also offer support services. If I could highlight over here this photo, our fabulous aviation department did a hiring event with us, and one of their requirements was to do an assessment to hitch a trailer. Well, they brought this over to our public library who hosted the event, and they were doing the assessments right there in the parking lot. That's the kind of stuff MCU does. At our event, hearing what we do, how do we do this? So at the beginning of the events, we offer workshop assistance, helping people with resumes, interview skills, and online application support. I think it's a misnomer that people think people can fill out applications and that it's easy. It's really not. There's a lot to attaching and understanding what does this mean, what does that mean, so our staff is there to support. We have the amazing support of our Human Services Department, who operates the Arizona at Work Adult and Dislocated Worker program that offers support services, things ensuring that folks have gas cards and clothes, and if they need tools, can get tools. We have other community partners that have been with us along the way, UMOM, Dress for Success, and many others. And then when it comes to the hiring part, helping folks understand the job description, what they'd be responsible for doing, the benefits that they have, and how they can get there. And what is the next step? Once I get the offer, then what do I do? So we have this roadmap for participants when they get there. It's kind of how we structure our program. We have a check-in and job matching. You know, number 2 was really something we learned, is really helping folks ahead of time understanding what they were applying to and what was the best match for them. Where do you live? Where's the bus? What are your skills? This might be a great match for you. Of course, the interview resources and checkout, because even if someone doesn't get a job, we know that they're hungry to get a job and are asking for change, and so we want to make sure we connect with them and stay connected till they land that job. And so for our employers, you know, that's the experience of our job seekers. Our employers get to make on-the-spot contingent offers. They condense the hiring process from weeks to days. Our team is masterful going in. I have been a part of them talking to someone. We're working with W.L. Gore, and they're like, oh, we got all these assessments. You know, in a matter of a meeting or two, we've got those down to about 15 minutes to make sure that we can do them. So really saying, what are those processes and how do we condense them? They love the tailored branding and marketing. That's been such a huge support from our marketing team here at CED that creates branded materials. It's a real sell to our employers, too. They like having their logo next to the city of Phoenix, which we appreciate. It's convenient and flexible. We are there to meet their needs. We adjust whatever we can. We just really try to tailor to them. And it's cost effective. Right now, our services are free. It's always the favorite part of the conversation where we wheel them in, and then at the end they go, how much? And we say free. But we do just say right now, Chris, today. Just right now, just today and today only. That might change. So as the city of Phoenix, you know how we feel about data. So successful events are definitely driven by data. We're going to talk just a little bit about our new mapping. But at these events, some things that are really important is a tiered model for job seekers. We really try to have the most entry level, a mass amount of them, and then a mid-level and a high. We're really trying to ensure that our events tailor to many different folks that show up that day. It's localized employers for job seekers. If we're holding a job fair in South Phoenix, I am not, working with an employer where their location is in West Phoenix, miles and miles away. So we're very intentional about who we're working with, the community we're in, and the best match for those. The event site is based on community. Let's say it's not employer driven, but that we're seeing a need in a community. Then we'll look with that community and go, what is it that they need? This one right here at UMOM was a fabulous event, and we have a lot of parents that are doing a lot but need work and need benefits. And so our team worked with one of our employers that offers part-time benefit or part-time employment that has full benefits, and that was really matching what is it that those folks need in that community and what employer can we bring to match that. And then we leverage that effective marketing. I know I just said it, but it's really big for us to have that marketing, and we utilize their marketing. I love, City of Phoenix being connected to these employers and our nonprofits that are out there supporting the work that we're doing every day. And here's the exciting part: we've had some real impact. We've had 701 job seekers, 439 interviews. And actually, this number is lower than what we have. We're actually probably at 260 now. We just recently had an event and had 35 more contingent job offers. What is exciting about this is we told Bloomberg in June of 2025 we would have promised to have 207 hires. And it is actually, we hit this number in June of 24, and we had 233. We sat on that for a minute. Bloomberg and Chris, though, wouldn't let us rest, and they made us set a new goal. So we have a new goal of 425, which we'll be achieving by June of 25, and we're not worried about that number at all. We can't do this without the great support of our employers, and one of them I'd really like to highlight is the City of Phoenix. City of Phoenix offers good jobs, good paying jobs, good benefits, and we really love having them at an event. We certainly can tell when City of Phoenix is at an event, we might have just a few more people there, people really interested to work with Phoenix. So Phoenix is one of our Parks and Recs department, our aviation department, and then, of course, there's a host of many other employers, Chipotle, Fry's, Washington School District, Wilson Electric, and many others. We thought it might be helpful to share some of the things that some of our employers have said about us, because really what our participants and our employers say probably means more to us than anybody. And these were some of the things. Planning and development, I was surprised by the quality of candidate. We've actually heard that a few times. I'm not sure how to take it, but we'll write it. Chipotle, you make everything so easy. Error mark, 38 candidates, 22 offers. Bash is here, who has been able to attract exceptional talent through their participation in our work. I talked to you about data. You know that we love data in the City of Phoenix, and it should drive all that we're doing, and the Mobile Career Unit is no different than that. We are just getting our hands on our new ArcGIS system that the city IT department and our team and CED and admin team has helped us develop. This new mapping tool is going to help us identify who to market to, what communities we need to be in. Some of the census, there's census tract filters on here, such as veterans, no high school diploma, poverty. If we're looking at multiple languages, different employers that offer monolingual services. Is internet an issue? If we find an area where there's no internet or depleted internet area, we definitely want to bring our mobile unit in there and bring that technology so people can apply for jobs right there. This is pretty new. This map is, just an example of what can be highlighted here. More to come on this. We're using it for our right now for the first time, really getting our hands in it, which we think is going to really help with our marketing and increasing our targeting marketing. What else is new is our RV. While we call it the Mobile Career Unit, we had to build it, and then the pandemic happened, and all kinds of stuff happened. And so we've had some dial-a-ride vans that the city has allowed us to use that has kind of operated as the Mobile Career Unit, but the actual unit itself with TVs and computers and all kinds of cool stuff will be here on September 18th. We're so excited about that. And then we have a ribbon cutting on October 24th, and we hope to be getting some information to you so that you all can join us for that big event. Chris thought it might be important to share. I can share all these things in numbers, but some of the real powerful things are the stories. And one of them here is Sally. Sally was new to our country. She has no family, and she had a baby, was really just struggling with really getting to interviews, applying for jobs. How does she do that? And even if she did, who would watch her child? And she needed some support in interpreting. Our team here, we babysit kids, we interpret. She was able to do her interview with her child by her side, our staff helping to interpret. She's now working at the airport. She's been there for over 6 months. She's also utilizing their childcare, which is just amazing. And she's recently received a promotion. So we're going to continue to track Sally and all the great things that are going on there. Here's another one for you. Amanda, a young mother, she came to an event. She's trying to get back to school, but she needed tuition assistance, and didn't want to get a lot of debt. She came to one of our events, and just the hours didn't work. She saw we were hosting events about a month later, and she'd been trying to get into Starbucks for some time and just couldn't even land an interview. Starbucks was one of our employers. She got interviewed that day, got a contingent offer, and now her school is being paid for. I'm not sure if you know
Starbucks pays college tuition, so now her ASU. So now she's on the road working at Starbucks, and Starbucks is paying for ASU for her to continue to keep moving forward. And that's the really exciting stuff we do. The numbers are great, but going there and talking to people and hearing their stories is just powerful. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share the great work of the team, the MCU team. And Chris, I'll turn it on over to you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to update you today, but also for your guidance, for your direction, for your help on this great program. With you and our Business Workforce Board, I think we are just beginning to see what the Mobile Career Unit can do. And I should have shared with you at the beginning, this is Deb's first time in presenting before the City Council. So that's her. She mentioned she was a little nervous, but I think she did a spectacular job. And with that, Madam Chair, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you so much. And I would agree, Deb, you did a fabulous job, and I wouldn't have known it was your first time. So thank you for presenting today. Do we have any questions or comments? Councilwoman or Vice Mayor Stark?
Thank you. Just more of a comment. As you go out, I would love to know where you're going, so we'd be happy to post on social media and make sure the word gets out. I haven't been to our unit, but I know St. Joseph the Worker also has a mobile unit and has been so successful. So I think this is very exciting, but let us help spread the word.
Madam Chair, Vice Mayor, you make an absolutely wonderful point. We'll put the upcoming events in our weekly that we provide to the city manager that is sent to you, so you'll know well in advance that these events are coming up. That is a great suggestion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Hodge-Washington?
Yes, please. Thank you, Chair. I echo, great job, Deb. I would have never guessed it was your first time. Phenomenal job. I just because I wanted to understand a couple of this. I wanted to understand slide 11. I saw that there were blue and red notation, and I presume that the red notation. Well, let me let you explain it to me versus me presuming. Can you tell me what the blue and the red stand for on that map?
I can't help but look at Chris. She wanted me to tell you what the red and blue are. And I was like, it's just an example. I don't even remember what the red and blue were. We were just, in all honesty, council member, we were trying to just create a picture. I believe this particular one was households with 34% poverty. But I really would have to get back to you and really try to guess.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something as part of the process. And then I just wanted to ask two questions. Of the 233 hires, which industry has had the most success for placements using this process? And can you tell me why you believe those industry placements were more favorable?
You know, I really appreciate that question, and I can pull the data and provide that to Chris or to the council to get to you. I don't have that readily off of my mind. I'm trying to think about it real quick. So I think there's a couple of different ways that we're looking at the mobile career unit, and it's really evolved. So really, part of our strategy is taking an unengaged community and engaging them in workforce. So a lot of the positions that we've been working in has been entry level. How do you get in the door? And that's kind of where we create that tiered model. And sometimes that's employers that have lots of openings. So you'll see a lot in retail, which is an in-demand, not high wage, but an in-demand industry in our community. But engaging someone in a workforce and getting them in that place, but we never leave them there. That's that important part about that post. Once you get the job, you're hungry, we're staying connected to you. What's the next step? We never want to leave them where they're at, typically, unless that's a good fit for them. So there's that piece, and then there's this second piece that we're just modeling. Actually, we had our first one yesterday, which is an industry-focused kind of, or actually, I'm sorry, that one was not. WL Gore which we are working on right now is advanced manufacturing. So we're looking now at doing more of a high wage, high demand kind of career. We're looking at folks that maybe are already in the workforce, but maybe underemployed. And those we're going to line up within our 5 in-demand industries as identified by the City of Phoenix Workforce Development Board.
Madam Chair, Councilman Hodge Washington, if I could just add a little detail to this. So Deb's exactly right. The service sectors have been our early adopters of our mobile career unit, and in the beginning were those more significant numbers of those individuals. They can, because it is required that they do a contingent offer in the mobile career unit on site that day. In the beginning of our work together, this service sector, that was an easier thing for them to do. As we've become more sophisticated at holding these events and explaining this to our more base industry employers, such as the City of Phoenix and WL Gore and many others, it's getting easier to explain to their human resources department why you can make a contingent offer at this site. As an example, let's use the City of Phoenix. We do background checks. And so it was confusing in the beginning for the City of Phoenix, since we have to make that job offer, but it's contingent on the background check. We worked with our human resources department to say, why does this particular position need a background check, and how deep of a background check? So working through those things, we've learned a lot in our use of the mobile career unit to date. And I think as we come back to report to you next year on our success, I think we'll see it flip from those service sectors to the more base industry that now can take advantage of the mobile career unit.
Thank you so much for the additional information. And I know it's still a work in progress, but like Deb, please let us know how we can share the word. And then I think you'll have plenty of inquiries. So if you want to share the process for requesting the RV the mobile unit, when it's actually delivered, we would love to be able to help you spread the word with them.
And Madam Chair, Councilman Hodge Washington, you make a great point. I want to make sure that we bring here, as the mayor and council are having events in your community where it makes sense for the mobile career unit to be in participation at events within your community, please let us know. Councilman Hodge Washington, you know we're working with you and an event in your community at the end of November with one of your nonprofits. And so where those make sense, would absolutely love to be there with you and getting good jobs for our citizens.
Yes, excited to see it up close and in person. So thank you again for both of you for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I am curious a little bit about the data we collect, and I obviously are collecting the contingent offers. Are you able to track folks as they maybe move on or progress at all, or get feedback from them later on?
Thank you for asking that. Yes, actually, we're just implementing a new required post-employment or post-employer survey. So we really are trying to put some onus on the employer to stay connected with us. For our participants, we're trying to, if they enroll in Arizona at Work, being able to identify and track them more long-term through our systems. But yes, that is kind of how we're doing that right now.
Do we do any voluntary surveying of the folks who get the jobs at all? I understand tracking them through Arizona at Works, but if I didn't do that, but you got me, like our friend Amanda, right? You got me the job at Starbucks, I got going to school. Do we survey folks who use the program?
We do. I don't think that it hasn't resulted as much as we would like, but we do have an evaluation team that's getting ready to join us, and I think they're going to really be helping us step that up with some gift cards and things like that they'll be offering through our Bloomberg project, through our Bloomberg relationship.
Wonderful. We look forward to hearing more about that too next year when you all come back. So congratulations on an incredibly successful program. I look for it to continue to progress to those other industries where they're a little bit higher paying jobs. So thank you for all that you're doing for our communities. Our next agenda item is for discussion and possible action, and it is the fiscal year 2023-24 Phoenix Hermosillo Trade Office results and funding authorization. And Chris Mackey will continue with us, and we have Juan Batres. Sorry, I probably just butchered your last name, so I apologize, with us.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, we are here today to provide you the results of our fiscal year 23-24 outcomes of our City of Phoenix Hermosillo office, as well as request our funding opportunity for our 24-25 contract. As you know, we do have an office in Hermosillo, Mexico, a City of Phoenix trade office. It has been in operation since 2017, and we are seeing tremendous activities that are coming out of our Sonora, Mexico, but particularly out of our Hermosillo trade office. Councilwoman, Chairwoman, as you mentioned, Juan Batres is here with me. Juan does have oversight of the Hermosillo office and is going to walk you through what activities we've seen come out of it in fiscal year 23-24, but then give you an overview of our activities coming out of the rest of the contract. Mr. Batres, if you'd like to walk through our outcomes.
Chair and subcommittee members, my apologies. Mexico is Arizona's main trading partner with $19.8 billion in trade reported in 2023. And this represents about 27.6% of Arizona's overall trade with the world. And in comparison, Canada is the second main trading partner, contributing with 10%, about 10%. But what is exactly that we export or sell to Mexico? Of the $8 billion in exports reported in 2023, that related to copper ore concentrates, to electronics, to aircraft parts and engines. And what is exactly that we buy or import from Mexico? And number one, we have produce. Number two, those electronics that I previously mentioned that we export, they come back to us in the form of final goods or assembled components. And Madam Chair and subcommittee members, trade is only expected to continue growing in the upcoming years as an effect of potential massive onshoring activity to North America. A little bit of history of our presence in Mexico. As Chris mentioned, we opened our offices for the first time in 2017. In 2020, the Community and Economic Development Department received direction from Council to work on an overall international strategy that in this case affected our presence in Mexico. Months after, the Community and Economic Development Department presented the Mexico Trade and Investment Strategy, and by 2021, a one-year contract was awarded to the Subcommittee Phoenix and Arizona LLC as the winning bidder in a request for proposal process. And 5 months after, in March 2022, the Community and Economic Development Department led a delegation of public sector and private sector officials to rededicate its office. Before the one-year contract ended, Mayor and Council authorized the issuance of another request for proposal, at this time for a multi-year contract, 5 years. And in October of 2022, this contract was awarded to the Subcommittee Phoenix and Arizona LLC, at this time as the only bidder in the process. We are in year 2 of this 5-year contract. But what is exactly that the office offers in Mexico? What type of services offers? We focus on 4 areas. The first one is we promote trade. We work with companies, Mexican companies that are looking to develop business here, and vice versa, Phoenix companies that are looking to develop business in Mexico, of course. We foster business-to-business relations on both sides of the border. We also provide site selection services and project management services as for companies that are looking to locate here physically. And we showcase investment opportunities as for what it relates to commercial real estate and development. The Phoenix Hermosillo Trade Office assists a diversity of companies, but more in particular, we focus, as you can see in this map, in 5 areas. We go after these areas or regions in a very strategic way as for the sectors and industries that we want to work with, and those need to match Phoenix's economy, of course. We work with legacy industries as the ones I mentioned initially, the aerospace and defense industry, electronics, but we also need to go after new markets or what we call emerging industries in this case. We, of course, work with sectors such as automotive that didn't exist here before, more around the electric vehicles, autonomous vehicle side. We work in food innovation. We work also on software development. That is a big trend in what we've seen in the last few years. And of course, we work on electronics 2.0, as we call them right now, which relates to the semiconductor industry. The Phoenix Hermosillo office is represented by Mr. Antonio Proto and Mrs. Ana Maria Araque, who have over 20 years of experience in international trade and business development. It's been a pleasure working with them for the last 3 years in form what I believe it's been a phenomenal partnership. I cannot express the gratitude that businesses, not just in Mexico, but here in Phoenix, they share with me when they work with Mr. Proto and Mrs. Araque, not just for the services that we provide in the office, but all kinds of services or guidance, support that they offer to visitors.
And Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, I'm going to give you an example that is completely outside what would have been the normal scope of a trade office to work on, just to show you the depth of their connections and the depth of their commitment to Phoenix. So we were approached by the Phoenix Firefighters Foundation, and they wanted to take some of their equipment into Hermosillo. They had long ago had a partnership that had kind of slipped aside and wanted to re-engage in their partnership earlier this year. So we did reach out to our Phoenix office in Hermosillo and connected our Firefighter Foundation to our Hermosillo office. So you may or may not know, you can't just take materials, you just can't take equipment across the border. There has to be documentation, there has to be work. Mr. Proto reached out to Customs Border Patrol. He had firefighters ready to reveal the equipment as soon as they reached the border. Customs Border Patrol was waiting for them. They knew exactly what to do. They were able to get through the area quickly. We were able to make a connection through our Hermosillo office. As you know, annually, our Firefighter Foundation does a cancer microbrew, so they were able to brew that in Hermosillo and bring that back into Phoenix. So really excited about the relationships. Our firefighters came back and expressed their extreme gratitude and what a great event and great partnership they had with their counterparts in Hermosillo, and did want to continue that relationship. So now we've hooked our Hermosillo Trade Office up with our Firefighter Foundation to be able to continue that relationship and partnership moving forward. So again, just the extent of services that Mr. Proto, Mrs. Araque provide to us in Mexico.
Thank you, Chris. And as for the fiscal year 23-24 results, we classify those by intangibles and tangibles. As for the intangibles, the office in Mexico was able to complete 7 prospective trips, participating in different conferences and events and showcasing the city of Phoenix as an investment destination. From Tijuana to Monterey, business representatives were always eager to learn more about our market, and considering that sometimes most of them are more familiar with other regions in the United States, such as Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, or Miami, to mention a few of them. Number 2, the city of Phoenix was also able to execute a new memorandum of understanding for economic development collaboration with the state of Baja California, for a total of 4 now. We now have agreements with Baja California, with the state of Nuevo León, and the cities of Monterey and Hermosillo. Number 3, the city was also able to apply and became a member of 4 chambers down in Mexico. We are now members advancing our economic development strategy down there. We're members of the American Chamber of Commerce, Chapter Mexico, or AmCham Mexico. We are members of the National Chamber of Industry and Transformation, Canacintra, and we're also members of the National Chamber of Employers, which is Coparmex, to mention 3 of them. The office was also able to complete a research study, the phase 1 of a research study that really helped us to assess different industrial regions in Mexico. and not just the industrial regions, but really to understand their production capacities. Last but not least, in number 5, and associated to this last item, the city was able to launch its supply chain sourcing North America services program as part of the trade promotion services. In what was in 2020 a strategy, it became a service in this fiscal year to assist companies in really identifying the raw materials and components, sometimes services, to land their operations. Madam Chair and subcommittee members, as most of us know, COVID-19 really taught us a lesson related to constraints in the supply chains and logistical issues. Many ports in the United States, as you know, the Port of Long Beach, the Port of Los Angeles, Houston, they went through a lot of bottlenecks from a logistics perspective. And that not just pushed to a scarcity of goods, but also pushed to inflation, not just to the basket of goods, but to almost every single product and service in the United States. As you know, we're still adjusting. And the companies became more and more creative when they were relocating and expanding, trying to regionalize their supply chains. I have to say that companies today report 2 big issues when they are expanding or relocating. The first one is access to talent, which is workforce related, and access to supply chains. Also, to provide a good understanding of the importance of this topic, the federal government has invested $500 million as part of the CHIPS Act just to solve this situation and begin working with allies in 3 countries in Asia and 3 countries in the Western Hemisphere. Mexico is one of them. As for the tangibles, the office was able, and proudly say this, we were able to assist 294 new companies. This is almost a 60% increment from last year. About 90% of those 294 companies were companies that were looking to develop business in Phoenix or have some sort of presence. As a result of that, 5 companies incorporated their entities in Arizona. Today, they are developing business and transacting in Phoenix. And 4 companies physically located operations here, from software development services to a microbrewery concept, more like a restaurant type of bar, just landing it here in downtown Phoenix. Moving forward, Madam Chair and subcommittee members, with your support, we would like to continue working on strengthening our supply chain sourcing North America services by developing new initiatives, developing new partnerships. Based on that result that I provided to you about 90% of the 294 companies being assisted, that's been a trend for the last 3 years. We would like to work with our partners in the community in creating a soft landing strategy to facilitate that process. And of course, from a business retention and expansion perspective, we want to work with our local companies. We want to work closer with them to promote our trade services, our office down in Mexico, but also include them in our supply chain network. That is one of our goals. And of course, last but not least, continue building relationships with key partners and markets. With that said, thank you very much for your time, and it's been a pleasure sharing these results with you. I'm going to pass the microphone to our Community and Economic Development Director, Christine Mackey.
Thank you, Mr. Batras. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, our proposed contract changes for the balance of the contract, which are 3 additional years, is we would replace the 3 one-year contract extension with 1 3-year contract extension. The work that we're doing in the North American supply chain sourcing, the work that we're doing in electric and e-mobility, the work that we're doing throughout the entire country of Mexico really requires a strategy that is more than just year to year, is allowing us to continue to push and work with our entity for the 3 additional years. We are asking to fund the contract extension for a total amount of the 3 years of $510,000. If you look at your contract that we have today, the last 2 years, that has been $140,000 a year. We are asking that that increase to $170,000 a year to account for the additional staffing, but we're also having our Hermosillo office work far outside Hermosillo, all over Sonora. And as you saw from the list of trade shows and activities and events, we have them in Monterey, we have them in Mexico City, we have them in other areas. So we're seeing tremendous value by them adding additional workforce as opposed to us opening another office and having that activity move forward. So expanding that ability. So Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we do recommend the Economic Development and Housing Subcommittee move to the full council approval of our 3-year contract for our Hermosillo office. And with that, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, both of you. Do we have a motion?
I will move to approve.
And a second?
Second.
And are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. We look forward to continuing to grow our relationship with Mexico. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Item 14 is the continuation of the Chris Show. Maricopa Community College's Foundation Venture Cafe Events Programming Sponsorship. And for that item, we'll hear from Chris Mackey and Claudia Whitehead. Thank you, ladies.
Madam Chair, I was just about to say I'm getting very comfortable in this chair, so I appreciate the humor going on. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you for tolerating us again for yet another item today. We are here to give you an update on an overview on Venture Cafe, which is an item that the city did fund for the last 3 years that is here in downtown Phoenix at our 850 PBC building. As the chairwoman mentioned, with me is Claudia Whitehead, who oversees our biosciences and healthcare strategy. But I would also argue it was really Claudia's vision that stuck with it in the beginning to convince everyone that we should fund and bring Venture Cafe here to the city of Phoenix. So I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Whitehead to give us an overview on all the exciting things going on at Venture Cafe. Claudia?
It is on. Good morning, Madam Chair and
I'm
members
going to interrupt just one second, Claudia, because I do realize I skipped an item. So we will go back to item 13 after we're done doing this one. So I apologize to everybody that I just threw in a flux. I jumped ahead in my agenda. Thank you, Claudia. Sorry about the interruption.
Oh, no worries.
We're actually going back to we need what was up, the Venture Cafe. We're just going to do them out of order. All good. We just want to mess with you.
Right. Just to keep us all on our toes. Great, and thank you, Chris, and good morning, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. Really excited to be here and share more about what's been happening with Venture Cafe Phoenix. So just to give you a little bit of reminder and background. So as we were working with Wexford Science and Technology to bring them into Phoenix, and as we had visited many of their knowledge communities around the country, we really saw that some of that secret sauce was really the incorporation of this great program called Venture Cafe. And back in September of 2021, the City of Phoenix Council approved us to support and be a founding sponsor for 3 years for the launch of Venture Cafe Phoenix in 2022. And this really has helped to elevate the visibility of the Phoenix Bioscience Core and the innovation that is happening not only on the Phoenix Bioscience Core campus, but also throughout the community. And it's really created this platform for community innovation and convening. And Venture Cafe is part of a huge global network of 12 global cities for Phoenix that we are able to connect with. So there's 12 cities right now that's part of the global network, but they are expanding that now as looking at other global cities, seeing what the success has been throughout the world. And Venture Cafe Phoenix has seen just serious, tremendous success. over these past 3 years. And so to date, or to July 2024, there's been 111 Thursday gatherings with more than 14,000 innovators that from the community that have attended the events. And Venture Cafe Phoenix has also received the Making Things Happen Award. And so really being the fastest growing venture cafe within the global network, which is a great achievement for the team that you can see here that runs the mini conferences every Thursday. There's been 807 sessions with more than 400 speakers throughout these 111 gatherings.
And Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, just to add a piece onto that, one of the things I love the best about Venture Cafe is these don't have to be companies that are coming in to learn and be part of the event environment. There are citizens. They just walk in. It's free. Because of the City Council's sponsorship, it's free to our citizens. They can just walk in and join in. I love seeing the badges they have on because it has the number of times that they've attended Venture Cafe. And often you'll be speaking to someone who's an artist, they're a small business owner, they're a citizen who might live in one of the council districts and they've heard of it and they like being part of the learning environment and meeting new people. So I think it's important that our citizens know that they are very welcome to join on any Thursday night, and it is not any charge.
Absolutely, and I think that that's one of the great things that those numbers on the badges, for people that have been there for multiple times, when they see that somebody's been there the first, second, third time, those that are seasoned attendees really, connect with them to find out what brought them out and how they can help to connect them with others at that gathering. So it's really exciting to see, and I think I've known a lot of people in the community, but every week that I attend, I meet new people and learn new things that are happening within the community. So really exciting platform for the entire community to engage with. And one of the things too is that the goal for Venture Cafe is to ensure that they're tracking the metrics of who is attending and making sure that they intentionally reach out to a diverse community to attend and present. And so just a couple of examples of this is tracking the role in the innovation ecosystem. So here you can see that many of the people that attend are part of the startup community, but then others are academic, corporate, government, investor, service provider. So there's a different roles that attend those gatherings. And then also looking at those that report that they are part of a business and looking at what stage of business they are in. And so this helps to inform the programming for Venture Cafe Phoenix as they develop the programming for each week. And the online reach is just outstanding within this 3 years through Venture Cafe. And looking at more than 4,500 social subscribers that follow the Venture Cafe Phoenix on social media, 183,000 newsletters that have been sent, with a 44% email open rate, which is really outstanding. And so with all of these emails that go out and that the City of Phoenix is recognized in those email newsletters as a founding sponsor, so that helps to build up our brand in supporting the innovation ecosystem within Phoenix. Website views, more than 300,000, and 30,000 website users that regularly go onto the website. And Venture Cafe's Thursday gatherings, there's more than 150 to 200 people that attend every Thursday. And that's really hard for people to understand, that more than 150 people come out every Thursday to attend and connect and learn and share. And this is a couple of the feedback, some of the feedback that we've received from attendees. And so you can see that Anna, she met her co-founder for her company at a Thursday gathering, a student from Grand Canyon University, Everybody's really happy and friendly, and really for professional development. She's really been able to make a lot of great connections at Venture Cafe, and really getting a understanding of the national and local startup ecosystems. Love the network. The content is always great. And winning the big pitch competition was incredibly impactful. So this founder, she actually comes out on the first Thursdays of the month, which are dedicated to bio content. And so she sells anatomy art, and so it's really appropriate. And so she's been able to connect besides having that big pitch competition win. So. And the community impact for the city of Phoenix has been really a great tool for us to engage. Also in the company recruitment, we take companies that are looking at and considering coming into Phoenix, and we take them to invite them to attend Venture Cafe, and they immediately see that there's this great positive energy for an immediate opportunity to really get immersed into the ecosystem. Being able to host international delegations. Madam Chair, you were there to welcome the 40-member delegation from Taiwan, as they were able to highlight many of the innovations, bio-innovations that are happening in Taiwan. Industry spotlights, this is where W.L. Gore was there. This is one of the most popular nights too, where they were doing demos about their incredible materials that they utilize in their medical devices that they manufacture here in Phoenix. Also, the Office of Innovation has been able to engage the entire community where individuals from the community come together. They haven't even met before, but they form teams to solve problems and solutions through the Office of Innovation's hackathons that are hosted at Venture Cafe. And then also experts and attorneys and patent attorneys and others provide mentorship and office hours that are open to attendees that they can engage with them for those services for free. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Community and Economic Development Director Christine Mackey.
Thank you, Claudia. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Community and Economic Development does recommend us move forward with continuing for the next 3 years our $50,000 sponsorship annually. That does give us access to leadership programming and leadership and programming, more than 40 annual events, weekly promotions that help us really, as Ms. Whitehead talked about, identify and highlight Phoenix innovation and our companies that are moving forward here, working to help us diversify our economy, and a true activity and focus on our biosciences core and vision and activation. For the next 3 years, that would be a total of $150,000. I think it is important to note we don't need any additional funding from the general fund for this. This is funded out of the Genomics Fund, which is the rent that our companies pay to be on the Phoenix Biosciences core. So this it's just further accelerating the activity on the PBC. And with that, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, we do recommend approval to the City Council of the additional strategy and funding for 3 years of Venture Cafe. And we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you both for the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval?
I will move to approve per the recommendation of Economic Development Department.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. And now we will go back to the item that I skipped, which is still the Chris and Claudia Show, fiscal year 2024-25 Bioscience Healthcare Strategic Initiative. And this is also for discussion and possible action.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, thank you for having us again yet today. We are here to give you an overview of our fiscal year 23-24 activities in our Biosciences Strategic Initiative and make recommendations for the Council's consideration moving forward in 24-25. Ms. Whitehead does remain here with me to provide you an overview of that strategic initiative, and we'll be happy to take questions when you're done. Claudia, would you like to go through our strategic initiative and what we've seen this year?
Great, thank you, Chris. And good morning again, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. Really excited to talk about more about giving you an update about our Bioscience Healthcare Strategic Initiative. And want to just share real quickly a quick overview of a Phoenix Bioscience Healthcare Strategic Initiative was fully launched in 2019 with a focus on these areas to support and promote the growth of the industry in Phoenix. And the first one is in research and development. And this is where we really focus on the institutes of excellence in the public and private sector that are here in Phoenix, our research hospitals, academic institutions, and federal agencies. Also supporting our entrepreneurs, which we also like to, in the bio world, call our biopreneurs. And these are the innovators and founders that are advancing bio research and development through their companies. And really focusing on our precision medicine, which is one of the strengths here in Phoenix, for those focused on advancing genomic and other advanced technologies to personalize medicine and drug development against disease. Healthcare delivery, we are really fortunate to have such a robust healthcare system here in Phoenix, and not only on the care, the delivery of care, but also for the clinical trials that they play a key role in really advancing and delivering those new innovations to the patients. And so our biopreneurs have access to these healthcare clinical trials right here in Phoenix. And education, and this education is on all sides from K through 12 that we engage with, community colleges, the universities, and so we are really fortunate to have such a connected education system within Phoenix. And also on the branding side, so we really wanted to make sure that we elevate our branding and awareness. So we have built off the Phoenix's Hot brand and call it Phoenix's Bio as well, and where people can engage and see what's going on in Phoenix through the phoenixsbio.com pages. And with that, we've really seen great results as Phoenix has recognized internationally and nationally for its rankings, being top 5 in the US of emerging life science markets, #1 in life science job growth. The job growth rate at 8.5% is above what the national rate is. #1 in life science graduate growth rate in the biological and biomedical sciences. So talent is always top of mind for all companies, but especially in the bio space, it is very, very critical that people have this technical knowledge and being able to advance and support those companies that are creating these new therapeutics and technologies for all of us. Also on the Arizona side, we are ranked 2nd in the US for life science job growth, and 9th in the US for the clinical trial economic impact. And so that just goes back to the healthcare delivery system and the clinical trials that are able to be conducted here in Phoenix. And with this, we've seen unprecedented growth since the initiation of this strategic initiative under Mayor and City Council's guidance. So we've seen more than $4.2 billion in new capital investment and more than 6.2 million square feet of new primary facilities. This is not medical offices, these are primary facilities. And this has created more than 11,000 new quality jobs for our residents.
Vice Mayor Stark.
Thank you. This is pretty impressive. Could you talk a little bit about the jobs, about what level of pay they might be?
Absolutely. So in the bio industry, these are the highest quality jobs, really. The average wage is on the bio research and development side is more than $90,000.
That's outstanding. Thank you.
Yes. And one of the key strategies and components of our initiative is attending the Bio International trade show. And this year we attended in San Diego, where there was more than 19,000 attendees, with 40% of those being international attendees, so it's a true international convention with 68 countries that were represented. And the city of Phoenix had one of the 63 domestic and international pavilions. And so most of the pavilions are by states or countries or pharmaceutical companies. And so we were one of the only cities that had a pavilion at the conference. Oh, it's not advancing. And with our, as we've seen in community and economic development, many of our prospects and investment has come from international countries. And at Bio International, these are some of the top international delegations that attend. And so we can see that many of the delegations from these countries have visited Phoenix in the past few years, and then also vice versa, where we've visited these countries with delegations. And so we've really achieved a lot of great relationship building with these countries. And with this, we also want to thank the mayor and Councilwoman Hodge Washington for taking the time out of their busy schedules to join Phoenix's largest delegation that attended Bio this year. And it really made an immeasurable impression on our delegates that joined us. We had the largest delegation this year with more than 60 delegates that joined us. And it not only made an impression on the delegates that were part of our delegation, but also on the outsiders as they were able to engage with the mayor and Councilwoman Hodge Washington. And it really shows the commitment by the mayor and city council of the commitment to grow the industry here in Phoenix. And with the delegates, they engaged with more than 400 meetings, identified 160 plus opportunities for partnerships and collaborations. One of the companies that has joined us for a couple of years, they this year were able to meet with a strategic partner and increase their clinical trial sites by 100 sites. So that is really going to help advance and accelerate their therapeutic to be able to go through the regulatory process and get to the patients much quicker. We have, for the city of Phoenix, 19 identified hot Phoenix prospects where we're continuing conversations with them, with 60% of those going back to the importance of the international relationships. 60% of those are in the international companies. We had 3 startup stadium finalists. One of the companies, it was kind of funny because one of the companies felt that they weren't really ready for that global pitch on the stage. And their pitch just knocked it out of the park. And not only that, but they had one of the top international pharma companies proactively reach out to them for forming a collaboration. And so they're in talks with them right now. So great success for that company. And also at this Bio International show, we really worked on elevating the visibility of what was happening in Phoenix, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on that in the coming slides. And this is a representation of the companies that joined us at Bio International. You can see there's quite a number of companies, and we're really fortunate to have such a great engagement and support from the community. And then going back to that, elevating our visibility of what's happening in the city of Phoenix, we, as a sponsor of Startup Stadium, and so we were on the Bio International website, and so that website garnered more than 1.5 million page views since January to June, and you can see our logo here with many of the top names that are recognizable in the bio industry. One of the new things that we did this year was implement a geofencing program where the people that were attending Bio International on their mobile or their PCs, they could see the pop-up ads. So we had a series of pop-up ads that would come up on their mobile devices, and when they clicked on it, they could go onto our landing page and schedule a meeting. but they also got to see what the events were happening in our pavilion. And then after, post the event, there was also a follow-up for the month. And so we had a great success of visibility. And so this is one of the examples of one of the ads coming up through AZ Central. And so when somebody clicked on this after the event, then that would take people to the phoenixsbio.com website. And so we had more than 200 people that visited our website through these ads. We also had a tremendous amount of Phoenix delegation activity. We were fortunate to have Claude Boubon, who is part of the Phoenix Sister Cities Business Relations Committee, and he was able to get us connected and be able to have 4 presentations in the European Pavilion to share the stories and why it's great to be in Phoenix, and for them as they're considering coming into the US to be part of the Phoenix community. Also, delegation or demos that happened in the pavilion. We had more than 200 people attend the rapid fire fireside chat to learn about what was happening in the Phoenix community. Also at Startup Stadium, Mayor Gallego was able to kick off Startup Stadium and share all of the great things that were happening in Phoenix and why it's a great place for those innovators to be able to start and scale up their companies here in Phoenix. We also had hosted a press conference within the pavilion where Dr. Stephen Johnston, who is on the Phoenix Bioscience Core Campus, he successfully was able to announce the positive results from their canine cancer vaccine trial, and that was where dogs were able to go to the veterinarian over the past 5 years and saw amazing results to prevent cancer in their dogs, plus positive side effects where it reduced their chronic disease as well. Also, we had live podcasting happening, so people got to see that there was like a live podcasting happening, and this was with Tom Osha from Wexford Science and Technology, and pictured here is Stacy Metzler from Phoenix Children's Hospital. So it was great, and so now people can go onto the phoenixsbio.com site and hear the podcasts that were recorded at the conference. And then also, the other side of our strategy is also being a part of the Arizona Bioindustry Association, where AZ Bio is the leading voice for the bioindustry for Arizona. And so with this, with our membership, we're able to engage and have visibility at the number of events and engaging with the industry throughout Arizona, and then also connecting internationally with the other bio organizations. And this supplement will be coming out in September, October, 56-page bioscience supplement, and it is also part of the AZ Bio directory. So it's both online and in print. And this is one of the most popular items at Bio International, is for people to pick up that directory to find out what's happening in Arizona and in Phoenix. And so with that, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, I'll turn it back over to Director Christine Mackey.
Thank you, Claudia. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, I do want to recognize Councilman Hodge Washington. She was such a good sport in the 3-day event, in the trade show. People were showing her how their technology worked, using her. You saw the picture of her with the cuff on. She was meeting with companies. She ran the entry booth for us, the opening table where people walked up and asked for people. She was a very good sport and learned about biosciences very, very quickly. So would love to have any of you that would like to attend with us. It's a great opportunity to see all that's going on in Phoenix and in Arizona and meet so many of our companies. As part of our implementation strategy, the council has approved each year since 2019 as part of our biosciences strategy, the attendance and participation at the Bio International Trade Show. We do recommend moving forward with that again. It is a cost of $95,000. That is for the Phoenix Pavilion, that is for our expenses, that is for our marketing. We have companies, as Ms. Whitehead shared, 60 companies who came with us this particular year. We do have cost sharing that takes place. So we do have sponsors that come in. It doesn't end up costing us the full $95,000. We'll end up with a sponsor for our reception. We have sponsors of our universities and of others that bring in funding as well. And then also $15,000 for our annual Arizona AZ Bio membership that provides us great visibility and activity and industry connections here in this market. It is a total of $110,000 for this year. Again, there is no impact to the general fund. It does come from our genomics fund, which is provided by the rent that is paid for by our tenants on the Phoenix Biosciences Core, which the City of Phoenix does own. Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, I would like to commend you on the creation of our biosciences strategy. It has turned into one of our key pillars in diversifying our economy and diversifying our job space, in bringing new companies and international activity into Phoenix. In fact, most areas of Arizona had set aside biosciences when we really brought it to the forefront in 2019. And now our state partners, our county partners, and other cities are asking us to participate with us in Bio International in our activity. I will share with you a funny, we had companies from other cities in the state of Arizona that would come up because they'd see the Phoenix Pavilion and they would talk about what they were. There were a number of them that said to us, why is my city not here with us supporting our company? So we got a kick out of that and called our counterparts and colleagues in other cities and told them what their companies had said. So, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, with that, Economic Development does recommend approval to the City Council of the continuation of the Biosciences Healthcare Strategic Initiative. And with that, we're happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'd be happy to make a motion, but before that, one comment. When Chris says, will you help, she puts you to work. So congratulations, Councilwoman Hodge Washington. I see you were very busy there. I move to approve.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Great, we have a motion and a second, and I just want to say thank you for this presentation, and give a special shout out not only to you all, but the leaders in Arizona and our mayor, who had the foresight to decide that we needed to diversify our economies in not just Arizona, but specifically in Phoenix. The Great Recession were some dark, dark days for our communities, our families, our businesses, and I am proud to sit here and get to continue the work of those who came before me, but I'm very thankful for not only our mayor's foresight, but as well as her knowing how much the personal touch means. And thank you, Councilwoman Hodge Washington, for all your hard work at the conference. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you both for all of your work this morning. We do have another in-person for public comments. So Missy Pruitt is with us.
Hi. I'm probably pretty sure that my topic doesn't have anything to do with this meeting, but as long as I can get it out there to anybody, I guess that's what's most important. So I apologize in advance for that. Thank you for having me and allowing me to speak. My name is Missy Pruitt. I'm the founder of Arizona's first cat cafe. Yes, this is about cats. I'm also a cat advocate, and I guess you could call me a childless cat lady or a crazy cat lady. I actually don't think that's funny at all. It's super sad that people in our community have been given this stigma around them. I think they're heroes. I think that these people go out and spend a lot of their time on a problem that's not just their problem, it's a community problem. So I've created a program called the Arizona Advocates, and I go to schools and teach kids because I feel like our future change is not happening. TNR is not changing anything. I think that we need to educate our community, our kids, everyone because people just don't know. And I think that's going to be the change. If you don't know, I'm here basically to bring awareness to the crisis that we have in the cat population right now. There are over 500,000 cats roaming our streets in just Maricopa County. The suffering and the suffering of the cat guardians is horrific. People are giving everything for these cats, and we need help. So about this time last year, there was a hoarding situation, and someone called me and said, "Hey, Missy, we need your help." And I said, "Why do you guys call me? You know that I have a personal cat sick right now. Why are you calling me?" And they're like, "You make noise." So I'm here to make noise, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to be here a little bit more often, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to bring information, I'm going to bring ideas so that maybe we can get a little bit of help from our community and from our government. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say, except for one last thing is a very important person once said, the greatest of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way we treat our animals. And I can say right now that we're not doing so well on that with the cat situation. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments this morning. And then I just want to double check that we didn't get any of our virtual speakers calling in. Okay, I see head shaking no. So are there any agenda requests for future meetings? None. So hearing none, then I would adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for attending.
Even before we get to success. It's very rewarding work.
It's really special to us to be recognized for that work that we do.
It's just truly an honor